The other day, I recorded a video on success, and in the process, was reading through some of my old journal entries to get a better understanding for how it's evolved over time into what it is now. And to me, being successful is about being someone I look up to and be proud of. And in that same entry, I wrote, someone who is courageous and leans into fear. And on the next page, I wrote, what is fear? Fear is a feeling deep within that makes you feel small, that prevents you from following your heart. Fear is thinking about the future, the failure, rejection, and pain that hasn't even occurred yet or will occur in the first place. Fear is wanting to hide and run away. Fear is not setting a boundary with your parents because they'll get mad or upset, yell at you, not love you. Fear is not telling a girl how you truly feel because you're afraid you're too much or needy and that you'll be rejected or make her uncomfortable. Fear is not following your heart because you're afraid of pain and heartbreak. I talk about fear quite a bit in my videos, and I talk about how fear holds us back, right? From being our truest selves, from actualizing our potential in life. But in doing so, we give fear this negative connotation right out the gate. This reason to avoid it entirely rather than sit with it. It's like the cartoons we see, right? When you see a shadow on the wall and it's this big, scary monster, it invokes fear in you, makes you run away. But when you turn around and actually look at it, it's not what it appears. It turns out to be this tiny little mouse, a cat, whatever else, right? And the same goes with our own fears. We've created this image, this illusion of what fear is. That's so vast, so daunting, that we can't help but run away from it, but shrink from it. But much like the shadow, if we take the time to sit with it, to embrace and try to understand it, that's how we get over fear. And there's a line that I didn't read intentionally. Fear is a projection of our ego and hurt inner child, trying to keep us within the realms of what feels safe to us, what we're conditioned to seek. As human beings, we're all wired to feel safe, right? No one willingly puts themselves in immediate harm or danger for the most part. And fear is that mechanism, right? This construct we create in our minds to keep us safe, much like a parent wanting to protect a child. The thing with fear is that while it can be beneficial and important when we're young, when it stays with us, even when apologies for that, even when we've outgrown it, that's when it holds us back, when it becomes a limiting belief. Gosh, I really need to mute my keyboard, huh? And that's the thing. Fear, it only shows up, it only wants to keep us safe when there's something at stake, right? You don't feel fear when you're at the grocery store, when you're cooking breakfast, you're hanging out with friends. You feel fear when you're with your crush, when you're about to quit your job, when you're about to set a boundary with your parents. And I tend to do this when I journal. I'll go back and read through them and annotate in a different color. I don't know when I did this, but I annotated. Fear means to show you something is worth it. Isn't that a wonderful thing? That fear not only is there to protect us, to keep us safe, even when we're not in the protection of parents or loved ones, but also reveals what's important to us. And if we can view fear that way, it'll make us more accepting of it, more likely to open ourselves and our hearts up to that conversation, to understand it, to recognize that it just wants the best for us. And to that, when fear does try to, keep us within our comfort zone, to keep us safe, we can recognize that feeling and say, thank you, fear. Thank you for protecting me. I'm good for now. And isn't that a beautiful way to reframe fear? To recognize and overcome it when it does arise. And the more you do that, the more you sit with fear, the more you understand it, the more you encounter it, and you're able to thank it for protecting you, the more it becomes a friend you can rely on. And that's the beautiful thing about fear, is that it's that friend who's always with you, no matter where or who you are in life, to protect you, to show you what matters, to guide you towards the person you're meant to be, the life you're meant to live.